everybody. How are you doing today? Just signing on here. Hope you're all doing well. Happy moon, new, blah, blah, blah. Happy full moon to you, and a big welcome to you. My little setup here is falling down just as I'm signing in. There we go. I hope you can see me and hear me all right. Today is Saturday, December 14th. It's the full moon. And today I'm going to be pulling 3 cards from the Dragon Dreams Oracle. I got my box here. Nothing fancy. Power is always in its simplicity. So today I'd like to just remind everybody that with the full moon, I always think about hummingbird. And hummingbird energy reminds us to reinforce those high quality items. And I like to buddy that up with the full moon because whatever we're manifesting should be high quality, even if it's a part of us that we're letting go, because every part of us is always a high quality part of us. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been carried forward. And just like any program, depending on where we are in our lives, we may or may not require those tools anymore. So we tend to tuck them away in our back pocket. But at some point, if we don't need them at all, they're not serving us any good, then our system alchemizes it right out. And so sometimes when we talk about high quality items, we know we strive and we strive and we strive, but we also simultaneously talk about how some of our darker aspects are actually high quality items. And I always have a laugh talking about being a dick. Like it's never a good thing, right? To be a dick to somebody, to be rude to somebody. But that dickism, that assertive behavior does come in handy from time to time. And so that's one example of something that could be perceived as negative that's actually positive. So today, when I'm opening up the sacred space, I know I'll be thinking a little extra special about hummingbird. Got my cards here. They will be for sale, but the deck is not complete yet. There's still some ideas tossing around in my mind. I know other people, some folks out there are like, let me know when those cards are for sale, but I don't want to rush it. They might not be for sale until this time next year, 2025. But anyways, without further ado, let's open up some sacred space. And we always start in the south. Here we go. To the winds of the south, great serpent, wrap your coils around us. Teach us to shed your skin, to shed our skin the way you shed our skin. Teach us to shed the past, to walk softly on the earth. Teach us the beauty way. Aho. To the winds of the west, Mother Jaguar, protect us. Protect us the way of peace, to live impeccably. Show us the way beyond death. Aho. To the great winds of the north, hummingbird, grandmother and grandfathers, ancient ones, to the ones who came before us and to the ones who will come after us, come and warm your hands by our fires. Whisper to us in the wind. We honor you. We will honor you and your children's children. Aho. To the winds of the east, eagle condor, come to us from the place of the rising sun. Keep us under your wings. Show us the mountains we only dare to dream of. Teach us to fly, wingtip to wingtip, with the Great Spirit. Aho. Mother Earth, we've gathered for your honoring of your children, the stone people, the plant people, the four-legged, the two-legged, the creepy crawlers, the finned, the furred, the winged, all of our relations, Pachamama. Aho. Father Sky, Grandmother Moon, to the star nations, Great Spirit, for you are known by 1,000 names, and you who are the unnamed one, thank you for bringing us together and allowing us to sing the song of life and allowing us to sing our song, Aho. And a big welcome to my spirit guides, Amanda, Polaris, Manis, Toby, and all of the various aspects of myself. And a big welcome to you during this full moon ceremony. I have some notes here to help me remember. So each one is a little bit different. Today's focus is on the full moon. And after the full moon, we'll do a fire ceremony. And so let's get my cards. So I want you to think of a number and whatever you're feeling, go with it. Okay. I always have a little laugh. I learned this way back in university. When in doubt, choose C. There was some study that was done, and when in doubt, choose C. And there was some psychology behind people who were making tests, putting the answer, the most popular A, B, or C. C was like the most likelihood that that was going to be the answer. And so they were getting students just to circle C for all of their answers. And that's where that came from. When in doubt, choose C. So if you're not sure if you're in doubt, choose card number 3, and honor whatever you what you stick with whatever you chose. So 1, 2, or 3. This is a collective reading, and so all of the cards are for everybody. But whatever card you choose, that's like the thing that you got to focus on for this new moon. And the new moon, we just want to really focus on one thing, and that one thing can absolutely be a carryover. So 1, 2, or 3. Okay, and this one was chosen by the air elemental. And so this is for those of you who chose card number 1. It was chosen by the air elemental. So, you're breathing. How is that doing? just breath of life, using your communication skills. Um, so if you wanted to go on the internet and literally Google like air elemental and gain insight, you can. But the focus of this card is that this is a spirit guide hiding right in plain sight. So I had a powerful dream. All of these cards are based on my dreams and experiences. And I had a dream where I was coming home from a work day. It was a dark, rainy night, and I was taking the bus. And I was just like walking really fast to get home. And this orange cat came out of like nowhere. And I just intuitively knew that that was my cat. And at the time in my life, um, I never had a pet cat. I had a pet dog, but I was actually living on my own going to university. I had a pet ferret, but not a pet cat. And I never even thought about getting a pet cat. But really, um, it was a dream that I had during a time where I felt really alone. And it was letting me know that my spirit guides are around me. So, in keeping with the full moon theme, you've probably been manifesting some kind of support in your life. um, Somebody that's going to hear you, see you, that's going to know that you're worthy, and that's your guide. That's the dog monkey folk, different aspects of you right around you. So when you're saying your prayers, you don't have to feel like, your guides are far away. They're right there hiding in plain sight. And something that's fun to do is to take an everyday object like a brick wall or just the walls in your very home and look for little cracks. And you can pretend that those are zippers or pathways, portholes into other dimensions. And then, if you want to talk to your spirit guide, you can talk to that little crack in the wall, kind of like a telephone connecting you. But if you notice in this picture, it's raining outside, but the cat is nice and cozied up. And that's supposed to allude to the fact that internally inside of your mind, it might be really stormy right now. Like on the outside, your epigenetics, you can't control other people, you can't control your environment. But don't let that make your inner environment stormy. Your inner environment, you can control that. You can control how you think and feel. Yes, it's absolutely influenced by the epigenetics, your external environment, but you do have control over your internal environment. So get cozy. And this is a good time for you to get to know your guides. And given that this was chosen by the air elemental, I'm getting the impression that you need to breathe a bit easier. And you can do this. You can breathe easier knowing that support is in and around you. And your spirit guides, maybe you're hoping for like some really big, interesting looking creation of some kind, but your spirit guides are going to be presenting themselves in everyday animals like pets that are familiar to you, like cats, dogs, birds. Right now, we're experiencing seasonal changes. So, this is a really nice time for spirit guides to show themselves because spring and fall represent those in between worlds. And it's still fall, even though communities like mine have snow. It's still fall until December 21st or something like that. So um, I'm excited for you. And I'm wondering how this card resonates with you. Those of you who chose card number one, and I just love the little face on this cat. So cute. And like cats, it has the belly is a lot bigger than the head, implying that it's living a nice cat lifestyle. Um, and the cats are also associated with dragons. There's much to say about them. So that was card number one. Let's pick card number two. Those of you who chose card number two. This card was chosen by the fire elemental. Ah, so this card here, I'll just come and show you. That's you, those of you who chose card number 2. You're really passionate this full moon. So that's you in the middle. This is your past, rest in peace, behind you, and in the future, there's a question mark. So, and there's the rainbow bridge. So you are crossing the rainbow bridge. So this is Jaguar energy, this card, those of you who chose card number 2. So you are moving forward. There's a big green heart. Your high quality items. That's what this full moon is about. Every full moon is about high quality items, and shining them, shining your light. And so you have just finished letting go of like a bunch of crap, including, you've let go of high quality items that they don't serve you anymore. So they're no longer high quality items. If they're high quality items, they're going to be alchemized, becoming even better high quality items, better suited for you, or they'll just simply disappear. They don't have to be like these, really terrible things before they disappear on us, is the point I'm trying to make. But I'm excited for folks who chose card number 2 because basically you're crossing the rainbow bridge. You said goodbye to Snake, you moved on through Jaguar, and now you are entering into the hummingbird territory. And hummingbird energy is where it's at today with the full moon. So that is the synchronicity there. And there's footprints um, here. So the dog monkey folk, they want to remind you that the only thing that really matters is the now. Right now, and who you are, and all of those qualities that are in you. That's what matters. So the past, it's gone. Even if you wanted it back, you can't have it because it's gone. Just like in the last shower that you took, no matter how much you want that water back, you can't have it back. You can recreate the shower, you can buy the same shampoo and whatnot, but you can never ever have that exact experience again. And so you're, um, whether you recognize it or not, you need to be recognizing that those things you let go of, you can't have them back. They are gone, even if you wanted them back. That's being emphasized. Um, you're being cautioned not to stay stuck. It's important that you move forward, even though there's this big question mark and you don't know where you're going, you don't know what you're doing. You need to continue setting goals. It's continuous. So when you're working with the full moon cycle, for example, just because it's a full moon and yay, good for you, check off list, you've manifested, like that's not where it ends. The story keeps going, the hero's journey keeps flowing. So the dog monkey folk, they gobble up the past. So gobble, 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 it is gone. But the wheel keeps turning. And the dog monkey folk, they're going to forage forward for you like hunting dogs. They forage forward and they come back and report if there's any interesting thing worth paying attention to going on. They forge forward, they come back, forge forward and come back. But ultimately, you get to decide where you're going. But you do have support. The dog monkey folk, have a conversation with them. Who are the dog monkey folk? The dog monkey folk, they're folks who are from the very first primordial ecosystem, the very first forest folks, very first animal, insects, bacteria. Before animals were animals, they were dog monkey folk. And they're there to help you. But the thing is, if you stay stuck, like you're getting a bit comfortable on this rainbow bridge, that's nice, but you do need to be moving it along because this is a wheel. And the past, this process doesn't stop. So the dog monkey folk, they are continuously gobbling up the past to make space for the future. And if you are not moving forward, then you're going to be left behind as well, is the message. So you need to keep moving forward. You need to keep manifesting. You need to keep hoping. You need to keep dreaming. You need to not just rely on yourself, but be open to others' ideas to help you generate ideas. Maybe there's a lack of creativity going on in your life right now, but you have a need for the dog monkey folk to help forage. And the dog monkey folk, that can literally be the dog monkey folk, or it could be folks in your everyday waking life. For example, maybe you're thinking about going to school, but you don't know what to take, and somebody says to you, "Well, you know what? You've always really enjoyed gardening, but maybe gardening is too intensive for you. Maybe doing something like making bouquets would be a good idea." So having a conversation with somebody is a way to help you forage ideas, because maybe you wouldn't have thought about doing something like making bouquet arrangements, which still has something to do with working with flowers, and then you don't have the heavy labor piece, for example. So there's lots to work with here. And I feel like I want to say something else. It's just on the cusp, but oh yeah, what I want to say is that when you're foraging forward, um, you want to plant lots of seeds. Like, you want to have a focus, but in the beginning stages, don't be shy to plant a ton of extra seeds, and then you'll start weeding those seeds out, right? So you're going to be starting a clean slate. So whatever you just finished shedding, letting go, it's great. It's like you're at a clean slate again. So this one is full of opportunities for you, and you're just being reminded that, like, don't get hung up on the seeds that you're planting. Be open to change. Be open to your dreams and your intentions and your goals being temporary goals, because you just can't dream how amazing and phenomenal your dreams are going to be. So the best you can do is dream them as phenomenal as you possibly can, and then be open to allowing those changes so they can become even more phenomenal, is the message. So dream on. And those birds flying around are hummingbirds. So you've got the power. What are you going to do with it, folks who chose card number 2? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to know how you relate to this. And these cards, you can really weave them. You can really weave them. Okay, so now I'm going to pull a third card, last but not least, for folks who chose card number 3. Oh, and this one, just a reminder, was chosen by the fire elemental. So there's fire under your butt right now. You need to move. You can't just stay with Jaguar. And it's not because you're stuck. It's just because you're daydreaming a bit too much. You need to be moving it along. Okay. Card number 3. Okay, and this one was chosen by the water. My index finger was like really pointing in there. This one is all about perspective. Folks who chose card number 3. Children or offspring, angel or ET, protagonist or antagonist, this or that. And I want to read this here to you. It says, "There is no or, only is, because the hero and the villain is the same." And I I had to redo this card, because I put the hero and the villain are the same, because plurality, hero and villain. But then I'm like, no, hero and the villain is the same. So again, going with perspective. Perspective is like, there's you, there's me. I'm a singular, you're a singular, but when you put us together, we're plural, right? Because we're two, and that means plural. But spiritually, we're one, we're singular. Um, all of the pieces of stardust that make up my body are singular, but then they come together and form a community called the biological one known as Gina. So, um, singular, plural. How do we determine, and who gets to define those boundaries of what does it mean to be this, the protagonist, for example, and what does it mean to be that, the antagonist, for example? When really we learn through perspective that the antagonist and the protagonist, the bad guy, the antagonist, and the good guy, the protagonist, they're actually the same guy. It just depends on perspective. So I read a great book called The Hero with a Thousand Faces by Joseph Campbell, and that's the book that's on here. And it's reminding you that all of those heroes with a thousand faces, that all of those archetypes are you. And every single archetype exists within us: the bad guy, the good guy, the scary guy, the ugly guy, the beautiful princess, the scientist archetype, the technology and engineer archetype, that, being buddied up with the scientist, the teacher archetype, the facilitator archetype, the nurse archetype. There's so many endless archetypes out there that when we think about themes, the good daughter archetype. So it's not it's like there's a whole theme that one person represents. And anyways, all of those archetypes, the psychotic person, the psychotic archetype, all of those are within us. And depending on our schema, how we're raised, our biology of belief, the culture around us, depending on our lives day in, day out, and how those are unfolding, what our lives look like and sound like, will absolutely have a direct impact on how we think and feel and our behavior. Our behavior is communication, and when we're behaving, we're expressing an archetype. So when, for example, using myself as an example, when I'm being like a bully, giving somebody a hard time, picking on them, picking on the small guy, well, why am I doing that? Whether I'm conscious of it or not, behavior is communication. So when somebody is bullying, picking on somebody, they're sending a message that that's a reflection of their own insecurity. They have a need to bully because they are lacking with power within their own lives. And very typically, bullies have a bully of their own. And so when the bully's bully is not around, then the bully gets to have the power and gets to be the bully. And it's a clear demonstration that they're having a power struggle. They lack power in their lives. And so when when I'm acting like a bully, using myself as an example, I'm sending a message that, hey, I have power. I can have control too. I can be powerful um, and be a meanie. And well, is that what I really? What am I really communicating here? Right? What am I really communicating? And so um, when we start challenging um, communication and language, because language is beyond words. Language is behavior, like I was saying. Communication is also my body language, uh, far from whether I have a smile on my face or not. General body language, like if my shoulders are up or down, my hair on a chemical level. When I'm feeling stressed out, when anybody's feeling stressed out, their hair tends to be stressed out, right? It tends to be a bit more frizzier. Um, all of these are communications. The way we breathe is a communication. Something simple to point out: when I feel chilly and I get goosebumps, you don't have to ask me. You can tell just by the goosebumps on my body that I'm on the chilly side, right? So, what is the perspective? What is the perspective? And this alludes to perspective changing. And some people don't like perspective changing. Some of us, we tend to zoom in and we're hung up on details. If you're one of those folks, try zooming out on the bigger themes. If you're the kind of folk that, hi Rosie, you get hung up on the themes, well, maybe it's time for you to change perspective and focus on the details. Maybe you're the kind of person that you have this attitude that um, you're not sure anymore. I went through a phase where I had a spiritual experience and I assumed that two angels came out of my wall. And more than 30 years later, after some reflection and learning, I learned about ETs. and and I mean I knew about ETs before, but I my mind was protecting me. And so it protected me and completely shielded me from the very thought that maybe those angels were ETs until more than 30 years later. It was more than 30 years later that my mind finally surrendered to allowing me to have this thought and to consider the perspective that, hey, you know what? Maybe, Gina, when you were 7 years old, those were ETs that came out of your wall and not angels. And that really shattered my own paradigm. So when we're playing around with perspective, it could be very general, like, oh, yeah, geez, I never considered that before. But it can also be very traumatizing, angel or ET. A belief that I always had growing up was that when I died, I guess maybe Rosie chose card number 3. I always thought that when I died, that I was going to become an angel. And in my culture, people would say things, and in my community, like when somebody passed away, people would say things like, "Oh, heaven gained another angel today," or if somebody's mother passed away, they would say something like, "Oh, my mom got her wings today," and that alluded to the fact that my mom passed away, is now in an angel form, something along those lines. But when you consider these perspectives, it's like, okay, you know, whatever. So I thought they were angels, but now I think they're ETs. Okay. Okay, well, what does that really mean? Do angels even exist? Do I want to even be an angel? Do I want to be an angel when I die? When somebody says to me, maybe I'm being kind, maybe I'm at the grocery store and I reach something high on the shelf for somebody and they tell me, "Oh, you're so kind, you're such an angel." Like, what does that even mean anymore? Is it a compliment? Is it an insult? We can get into conversations about fallen angels. Like it really opens up a can of worms. So if you chose card number 3, there's definitely some, what's being highlighted for you is to consider perspective. And your boat, if you will, is about to get rocked because you're going to be falling down this rabbit hole of, like, it's like a philosophy. Like, well, if I'm saying this, then I'm saying that. Is that what I mean? Yes. Okay. Well, if I'm saying this, then I'm saying that. Is that what I mean? Yes. Okay. Well, I didn't realize that. Or maybe you're like, no, that's not what I meant. So then you have to take a step back with your thinking. So you're going to be hopping around. Freedom fighter or terrorist. What's the difference? In a nutshell, the make or breaker is that a freedom fighter doesn't kill. Okay, but what about when those definitions and roles start to get blurred? That's why warriors are better known as spiritual warriors, because when they kill, they struggle with that. They're not killing because they're just this, murderous folk out there who are hungry to be violent and kill. No, no. True warriors are spiritual warriors because they understand that they're taking a life, and they only take the life because it is like it's basically come down to me versus you. And And a spiritual warrior will push the person away to back off. They'll defend themselves. And as a very last resort, take the life and kill. And that's part of their training. That's why they're spiritual warriors. It's all part of chivalry. Anyways, I really enjoy doing these readings. I really enjoy coming on here live and just chatting with you folks. Something that I really enjoy. There's the pros and cons, talking about perspective. Um, and I did choose card number 3, if you were wondering. And for me, perspective I'm thinking about right now is I really love hopping on YouTube and just going live and, doing what I did. Here's my 2 cards, take information, don't take information, let me know how it, resonates with you, job done. But it's nice to do it when I have folks tuning in live and we do it on Zoom meetings so that I can hear your perspective because we're a story species. Stories are medicine. And so I have a need to shift my perspective because I'm finding there's a lot of folks out there, clients of mine, Soul Tribe, who really resonate with something like YouTube Live because they don't have to be seen. They don't want to be seen. They just want to participate in the chat, not participate in the chat, hear what I have to say, and they're doing their own fire ceremonies and whatnot. But then there's other people who they like to see the faces, even if they're not talking. Then there's the people who they enjoy having a Q&A. So I'm really excited because I'm listening to my own perspective, the voice of my womb, and how I want to manifest my spiritual biz, and how I'm going to be offering programs in I probably in the late winter, early spring of 2025. So I'm gaining perspective with different um, Zoom meetings and stuff like that. Not Zoom meetings, but different platforms. Um, and just figuring things out what works best for me, um, acuity, um, and brain farting it out now. uh, the Jane app, I tried the Jane app for a little bit, but they don't do the video. So, anyways, let's do some fire ceremony. And with fire ceremony, I'm interested um, in what you're going to talk into your stick, what you're going to let the universe manifest for you. And the thing about releasing our seeds and our keys is just that we have to let them go, or they're never going to come to fruition. So let them go and trust that the wind takes your seeds where they need to go, or removes them from pathways that they do not need to be going down. And I'm feeling really thankful for today. And I'm really looking forward to manifesting things that work for me and my soul tribe, so we can get as much healing as we possibly can get done because there's lots to do and I'm really good at it. Comes naturally to me with my transformational services. And just so folks know at home, if you wanted to book a session with me, just check out my links. You can. But I'm putting together a little program uh, for 2025. So, and I'm very thankful for the hummingbird energy, and I was really feeling the jaguar energy as well. Often, when we're manifesting, we have too many ideas, and we're excited and pumped up. And we want to make sure that we are giving ourselves time to reflect on those ideas, to go back and manifest. Almost done. Little glow that's left, and it's done. So I'm curious how you do fire ceremony in the comments. Let me know. I'm interested if you use a stick like I did or if you write on a piece of paper. Next week, I'm going to do a little mini lesson on how to open sacred space. And at this time, I want to close sacred space with you, closing the Witikocha. And feeling thankful, feeling grateful for Spirit for being with us today and for the great winds to be with us, the power animals. And I'm thankful for my guides and the goddesses. And I'm thankful for the prayer hands, a strong reminder that we mirror each other. We're one, reflecting, projecting, and that we're like trees leaning on each other, supporting each other. And thank you, Spirit, for the messages. I'm just getting a message now telling me you're doing a good job. Keep going. Keep doing these live Saturdays and to slow down, which is funny because, um, I was a teacher my whole life. So I'm used to going live, if you will, not on camera, but live in action, delivering lesson plans, facilitating for my union, the British Columbia Teachers Federation, facilitating for my um, local union and whatnot, the employer. But when you go live on YouTube or live on Zoom, it's a completely different vibe. And I'm always ready, just kind of hanging out, dancing around to music, relaxing. I've got the incense going because I don't want to worry about, last minute things. And yet every time I sign on, I feel like I'm rushed to like, talk or something. But I'm wondering what messages are coming to you. And, whenever I do the prayer hands and close sacred space, before I just used to close it and okay, that's it, it's done, it's over. But now I always just wait and I get these little messages. And that was the little message that came today was keep up the good work, basically. You're doing a good job and slow down. So thank you for that, Spirit. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in. My name is Gina Virginia Casella, and I'm so pleased for you to join me today. Please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel at Gina Virginia Casella. I'd love for you to join my Facebook group, Dragon Dreams, and I'd love for you to grab a copy of one of my books from the Dragon Dreams series, and you can also get it on Kindle on Amazon.ca. So I'll see you next week for the last quarter moon. And I hope you have a really great full moon the rest of your day and that you are manifesting and letting things go. Let those seeds go. Let your keys, dreams, let it all go. And I'll see you next time. Take care, everyone. Bye for now.